Heyo! Welcome back in this overview of the rebooted succession warrior. This video will be divided mainly in overview of skills, with tips and tricks of the most important things, then a quick note about hotkeys and cancels, then mobility, PvP, and this will be divided in 1v1 and xvx, so node war, and 1v1 with engages, disengages, combos and whatnot, and then PvE. So let's get started. Okay, before starting, very quickly, a quick note about add-ons. Surely we'll change something with add-ons because we will be able to put tier 2 add-ons in ground slash, but I will have to play around and see what is best for me, so I decided to not put it directly in the video, but I will put in the description the link with my add-ons, and I will always update it, so if nothing is new it means that I still didn't change them, and the moment that I will change my add-ons they will be pinned in the first comment of this video. So yeah, now let's move on. So let's get into skills. So slash still the same, charging slash still the same, deep thrust. Okay, so what they changed about deep thrust now is that we can't lock any more jumping thrust, exploding jumping thrust, etc, etc. They removed them and they made a unique skill. What this will change for us, not much for succession, but we can't style anymore with counter into deep thrust. It's whatever. And they also indirectly changed it because knockback now is 0.7 in the CC counter instead of 1, which allow us to use it more. That's pretty good. Ground roar is pretty much the same. Heavy strike, it got the first hit removed, or anyway they removed the first hit and they sped up the animation. That is very good. And they also increased the damage a little bit. Forward slash it's still pretty much the same. Sideways still pretty much the same. Counter. Now counter is one of the main changes in this reboot and it is very good. So in the past, to trigger spin counter for example, we needed to hold all the 3 buttons and it would trigger the skill. Now what they made is that we can just trigger for example for spin counter the 3 button and then leave S and left mouse button. So we can do this. Same thing for forward slash. Now we can do a quick forward slash by simply holding left mouse button after triggering the skill. So we start with S always and then release it and keep holding just what we need. Moving on, spinning slash, they didn't change directly much spinning slash if I remember correctly, but they added jump slash into the pool of succession now. So what we can do now is spinning slash and then jump slash, and the neat thing, the good thing is that jump slash have everything applied the same as spinning slash, so same damage, super armor and lingering crit. So the lingering crit, it refreshes when we use jump slash. So if it is 2 seconds with prime spinning slash, if we use jump slash it will refresh and the counter will start again from 2 seconds, which is pretty good. Also for mobility it is very good, one of the best change. Then moving on, piercing spear, it was not much changed but pretty good. They sped up the animation of recovery. So if before it was like super long before we could throw again, now we can throw it instantly. And like I found funny with holding W and A, for example, and just throwing spear, we can move sideways while throwing spears. But that's pretty much it, I think, of piercing spear. Okay, moving on into frenzied dash. The cooldown is 17 seconds. Originally was 20 seconds, so it's pretty good. I would have liked even lower, but we get what we get. You can activate it by pressing Shift plus Q, which is a very good hotkey to activate. And it has a float in the end of the skill if you press left mouse button. It is not the most useful thing. It's not really good, but there is if you want to style or you want to surprise your enemy. It kind of remember me the awakening version of Solar into Overwhelm. It's pretty fast, it's unprotected, but for some occasion maybe could have some potential. It is very good for mobility. We can chain, with the main thing Earth Tremor, so Shift Q into Shift F, but also even with simply Solar Flare or Shield Charge or other skills. It is much versatile, it is very good, improve our mobility a lot, and is well accepted. Next up is Scars of Dusk. They sped up the starting animation and they increase the range and a little bit the damage, and it is kinda noticeable. It is very good. And don't forget that you can also move forward if you press W in the end of the skill. Now Ground Smash. Before it had -2 hits for PvP, now they removed, so should be a little bit of more damage. They increased the range, now it is massive. And above all, they put back bound CC on the skill, which will allow us to be a bit more useful in odd war large scale with this massive AoE CC. And with the resistance nerf, this is gonna be nice. Now Earth Tremor, they revamped the skill animation. They made it so we can flow from different skill with this new animation, which is very good. And they increased the range of the skill, it is now massive. If we keep press W plus F after some skills like Pulverize or Ground Smash, we can actually move with it, which is protecting mobility, and it is very good. Next up is Ground Slash. They increased the whiteness just a little bit of the range attack, and they made it so we can put tier 2 add-ons on it finally, which is pretty good. Then Deep Ground Slash, it's still pretty much useless. Pulverize is pretty much the same, if not that I put critical hit rate plus 50%. Then Solar Flare, they put evasion rate minus 6% for 10 seconds instead of just the bleeding damage or the burning damage that was pretty useless. And they changed the behavior of the connection with different skills. What I mean is we can connect skills better with it. So for example, Solar into forward slash, it is way faster now, or Solar into Pulverize, or Solar into Ground Smash, and Solar into Ground Roar, I guess. But that's pretty much it. Next is our E-buff, our beloved E-buff. Now they made it super pog, and what I mean is they changed nothing, so it's pretty much useless. Next up is our grab, or specifically in general, every grab got nerfed. They are 15 seconds, and they are unprotected until successfully grabbing the dude. So it is super armor upon successful hit. Kick is still pretty much the same. Jumping kick is still pretty much the same. Now Shield Strike. In my opinion, they buffed for 1v1s, but nerfed for anything else. They removed the forward guard on the third hit and replaced the stun CC with a knockdown CC. They improved the way it connects with some skills, like before it would fuck up if I would forward slash and ground roar. I couldn't do this. Before it would trigger shield strike, but it's still not enough. It still kinda trigger in some situation, but I still love it and I will use it. They improved the flows with it, like we can use it after way more skills now. The main one, in my opinion, it is counter. We can use it after spin counter to have a double knockdown, and this is why, in my opinion, it is buffed in 1v1s, because if the first knockdown fail, there is a higher chance to knock down with a second one. We can use it after ground slash. We can use after any hit of Scarf Tusk, chopping kick. Let's say it is way more versatile, but the removal of forward guard, it is a nerf for 1vx, xvx, but not as much of a problem personally, and I will explain it on the not war PvP topic. About guard, our Q block, they buffed it and nerfed it at the same time. Like now it can withstand more hits before going to 0, but they nerfed every block in the game so that when they reach 0 guard gauge, it will go in a 5 seconds cooldown before it starts to recharge, and we can't use Q block in those 5 seconds. Upper shield strike now have removed floating in PvP, so it is pretty much just for movement. That's pretty sad, but it is what it is. And for how much I would have loved our real counter skills to be revamped if they didn't get touched. It's pretty sad, but it is what it is. Shield strike is still the same, still pretty solid. Shield push still pretty much useless, just lock it. Charging thrust now has frontal guard for all the duration of the skill. It is a very good change, pretty good. But above all, they removed the kick animation from the skill, so you can just dash and not trigger the kick animation, which was very lame. The only way to trigger the kick animation is if you don't hold W and instead you press F. So just don't leave the W button and you are good to go. War Cry received a pretty good buff. Now it kind of became a core skill for Succession. It has 1 minute cooldown, but it gives 20 DP for allies for 20 seconds, even though our block already do this, but maybe the bigger range benefit more, maybe. But above all, it has all AP plus 10 for 20 seconds just to self, but finally Succession have an AP buff, which is pretty good. Meditation got also revamped. For Succession, it gives 200 HP and 350 VP upon using the skill. It has a 30 seconds cooldown, so it's basically a potion every 30 seconds. But it also recharged the VP, so it's pretty good. It's a pretty good extra. And the animation got revamped too. Now it is basically the old starting animation of Frenzy Dash, so beware when you use it, because it will take like 1 second or such to cast the skill. And last but definitely not least, evasion. Now our evasion is 3.5 seconds cooldown instead of 5 seconds, which allow us to breathe more. Very good change. About our passives, they changed it so before the defenses were split, like there was melee defense plus 8 and range and magic defense plus 9 with a max HP plus 210. Now they just gathered all the defense and made all defense plus 20 with max HP plus 300. About our Succession passives, they didn't change. they are still the same. Also, we still have the attack speed plus 10%, and also the infinite mastery is still pretty much the same. Skilled under also our grapple success rate plus 30% is still there, and also at level 62 we gain all special attacks plus 1%. Now a quick note about hotkeys. Some skills require a hotkey in order to use, meanwhile others no, but they are kinda nice to have a hotkey. At least they are personal preference, I like to use them. The skills that require hotkeys, that they are important, are Scars of Dusk, the recently buffed War Cry, now that is a must buff to have, and of course Spear. The optional hotkeyed skills that I like to have are Solar Flare, and the important thing to know about hotkeyed skills is that you can use them even when your weapon are sheathed. So you can use Solar Flare instantly, and I like to have also the Rabam skills hotkeyed, because I just simply don't like their inputs, but this is just personal preference. I also have Upper Shield Strike hotkeyed for movement purposes, and that's pretty much it. Another quick note about cancels. The main skills that we can cancel other skills are Forward Slash and Evasion. They cancel each other. A good trick to train this is by holding A and left mouse button and then tapping W. Why is this important? Is because you can cancel some skills with the iframe. For example, Ground Smash. If I would just use Ground Smash and then use Evasion, this is the amount of time that it takes me to cancel Ground Smash. If I use the method with Forward Slash and Evasion, this is way more faster. It is pretty much useful and it works with different skills, also Pulverize and etc, etc. Also Chopping Kick can cancel Ground Smash, so Chopping Kick is also to take into consideration. That's pretty much it. The most important cancels, at least, you can do with this method, and if you master you can do pretty much good stuff. So let's move on. Let's move now into the mobility section of this video. Mobility with Reboot got improved quite a lot for Succession Warrior, and it was really needed, and this is mainly thanks to 3 skills, which are Frenzy Dash, the revamped animation of Earth Tremor that allow us to move around, and Jump Slash. This allows us for smooth and protected mobility. Not only just for the mobility's sake, but also in combat. Meanwhile, using combos, we can move around, grab, comboing, and then freaking off. Now, let's move into the PvP section of this video. I will show some 1v1 tips and XVX tips, so node war, large scale, whatever. I want to start this topic explaining very quickly again what is lingering crit, because we work around it pretty much to deal the most damage that we can. Lingering Crit, it is that effect that Spinning Slash and Jump Slash have, and it basically allows us to have critical hit rate plus 100% for 2 seconds. So the next skills that we use, even if they don't have 100% critical hit rate, like Heavy Strike, the first 2 hits of Heavy Strike, it's not critical hit. But upon using Spinning Slash, Heavy Strike become critical hit plus 100%, which is more damage. And this is basically what Lingering Crit is. Now, about the 1v1, it will not change as much because it's just our kit being more expanded, so we will have more mobility, and it is just a matter of master this mobility to help us catch our enemy. And what I can advise is using Jump Slash to close gap, also Pulverize into Earth Tremor, surprising with a Ground Smash that now have Bound, and so on. I will go over some of the basic combos and we will see. About the 1v1 combos, not much will change, just slight differences and improvements. And okay, let's get into it. One of the solid combos, it's surely Kisito's reset combo. So we start off with grab, ground slash, spin counter into the third hit of Shield Strike that I like to put personally for 2 reasons. One, if we don't knock down with spin counter, we have again a chance with the Shield Strike. And 2, it has air attack damage, so if we knock down first and then we use Shield Strike, we can do some extra damage, which is always good. Then I usually iframe to the side also to cancel Shield Strike. Spinning Slash, Lingering Crit, first hit of Heavy Strike into Ground Slash, into Pulverize, into Earth Tremor. And with Earth Tremor we can get some distance and still hit with the huge range that now it has. Also it may down smash, that would allow us to Ground Slash maybe and redo a combo. Another pretty solid 1v1 combo involves us doing Lingering Crit right after grab, and it is something like this. Grab, Spinning Slash, Jump Slash, Lingering Crit, Ground Slash, Spin Counter, Shield Strike, a frame to the side, Scars of Dusk, Pulverize, and Earth Tremor. This is kind of similar to the other one, and we have anyway the chance to down smash. A Solar Flare variant, after Spin Counter, now that it has the -6% evasion rate, Solar Flare will be really useful against evasion classes. With this variant we can Lingering Crit Ground Slash into Shield Strike thanks to Reboot, and hopefully knocking down the enemy and continue our combo. And another little variation with giving up the chance in the end to down smash to do a second Lingering Crit. So this combo will have 2 Lingering Crits. Not to forget that now that Spin Counter is so fast, we can try to throw it in the mid-fight against the enemy to try to knock him, and if we actually get the knockdown as a first CC, we can actually do way longer combos and way more damage by doing a combo with knockdown into stiff into knockdown. For example, If I knock my enemy with spin counter, then I can do my combo. And then mid CC with the stiffen, and then re-knockdown and do again another set of combo. It just allows us to put some extra skills in there for extra damage, and it is actually huge to start a combo with a knockdown. If we have the fast response to continue, it is actually good. Another important note that I want to add is always regarding spin counter. It is just so good. For example, if I CC my opponent, I'm going around, I am doing my stuff, I CC my opponent either with ground slash, which is a stiff, or shield charge, or by now also deep thrust, and I have the fast response to follow up, I can, for example, I go around, I CC, and then I spin counter, and it is still not CC cap, so I can do my things, my combo, etc, and then re-knock down, even because counter is 3 seconds cooldown. So always pay attention to this, because it's actually a huge factor. If we start with a stiffen, you can do knockdown, do your thing, and then again knockdown, and our combos will be way longer and way more damage. Other than that, it's kinda situational. Like if in the fight you CC with ground slash, then you can close gap with forward slash and put a quick spin counter. Or for example, if you CC from afar with a quick forward slash, then you can do jump slash into the third hit of shield strike to knock down, and then just do the combos. It's really situational and depend on what CC did you apply, if it's not a grab. But other than that, you can just do your best and try to get a normal combo and keep situational awareness of how many CC you are applying. This is really important. Moving on into the small scale, large scale, let's say XVX situations, I would like to start with situational awareness, and I mean just reading the field and moving around it accordingly. For example, if there are multiple people and you CC one, don't instantly start to do your combo and tunnel vision on this one person. Also see what the other are doing. Are they gonna attack you? Can you CC them also and continue with the combo? Stuff like this. It's just come with experience and practice, and even if you are not so good in the beginning, just keep practicing only on this, and slowly it will start to come naturally. Just keep going and you will get it. Another point of XVXing, it is to always keep in mind that we have the minimap. The minimap is really huge. It is a very important tool to read the battlefield. You can track enemies, and this helps you a lot, and at least 40% of the time your eyes should be looking to the minimap, your character minimap. Just keep track of the people around you, and this will help you a lot in XVXing and doing better in small scale if you keep track of the people. So let's dive into the engages now. Engages are crucial in blob fights, in small scale, in nodeware, and it is important to know which skill to chain to have the best engage possible with our cooldowns, of course. And we have mainly two engages that you can use. One is a proper engage, in my opinion. I found it best. The other is more of a disengage slash engage, but situational or for style. So let's get into those. So as the main engage, I have this. We have the blob, it's advancing we are forward slashing here and there, and then when we get the order to attack the enemy blob, which is right there, we can charging thrust, shield charge, quick counter, jumping slash, lingering crit, pulverize, and moving along with earth tremor. Now always keep in mind that you don't wanna actually go in the blob, but you wanna go aside the blob. You wanna moving alongside the blob and keeping throwing damage from outside the blob. And with our renewed AoEs we can actually do this. And I feel this engage is pretty much protected. And as a second engage, after we get the order to attack the enemy blob, we can charging thrust, frenzy dash into earth tremor, and then we can just iframe and keep doing our things. I feel like frenzy dash is more useful as a disengage than engage, but it still can be used as an engage, and this is still pretty solid. Also, I wanted to add a little extra engage for when you are just too close to the blob to use the extra skills that you saw in the previous engages. And you can just simply charging thrust and then shield charge if you still miss that little distance, and then ground smash into earth tremor into the backside or alongside the blob, and then just do your things. Okay, now that we saw how to engage, let's see what skills to actually rotate once we engaged. We have a bit of option, but what it comes naturally in my mind after my main engage, so charging thrust, shield charge, etc. We rotate pulverize into earth tremor, and right after I would iframe, ground smash, cancel it by chopping kick, and then it depends how it's going. If there are no enemy behind me and I position it myself correctly, I would throw a Scar of Dusk to then disengage. Or in case we are really winning, just keep throwing skills. And this is also why before I was saying that yes, we lost Shield Strike in 1vx or xvx in blob fights, but we actually gained earth tremor. We couldn't simply use earth tremor before because it was just too slow, and now that it's sped up the animation and they made us actually move with it, we can, as said, engage with pulverize and then earth tremor and then continuing our stuff. So we basically traded one skill that got enemy buffed for 1v1 shield strike with another skill, earth tremor, that now has more range and the animation is actually dope, so I really think it is a worth trade. Regarding what skills to use with the other engage, after we frenzy dash into earth tremor, we can iframe, ground smash, chopping kick, lingering crit, pulverize, and then depending how it's going, we can just more of disengage, Scar of Dusk, etc. Now, disengages. We wanna have quick disengages, quick ways to get away from the blob, and depending which engage we chose, we have different possibilities. But with the main engage, there is a pretty solid disengage. Even though it's unprotected, it is pretty fast, and depending our position, it is still pretty solid. So we just engage, we do our things, and then we just frenzy dash away into shield charge, solar flare, and we are way far away from the blob. Regarding disengages with the other engage, so using frenzy dash as an engage, we can simply engage, do our things, throwing some skills, etc. And then when we want to disengage, we just iframe into charging thrust away. This is really the only disengage option that we have if we engage with frenzy dash. So to recap, keep your situational awareness on point, keep checking the minimap, and choose wisely which skill you're gonna use to engage, to move around, to throw in the blob, and always remember to keep staying alongside the blob and throwing damage alongside the blob. It is again just about experience, and the more you will do, the more you will get the hang of it, and the more natural and yours will become. You will also discover your way to do things, and this is gonna be really good. Okay, PvE now. I'll be starting by saying I am not a master in this field, so whoever did not join Warrior Discord yet, I would advise to join for more in-depth questions regarding PvE and such. There are way more experts than me in there, but let's get started. So I will be using the main succession combo for PvE by Yuva from Warrior Discord, and I will just tweak stuff because thanks to the reboot they added some good options, and I found a pretty solid combo rotations with the cooldowns, etc, and I will showcase it right now. I will first go slowly, skill by skill, and then in the end I will showcase the full speed combo rotation. Okay, let's get started. We can say that we can divide this combo in two parts, and I will explain the first part and then the second part, and how we can chain them both, and how they chain them both. So we start as usual, we go into the pack and we ground roar to pull. After that we can ground smash into earth tremor, and with this we can also go to the backside of the mobs if you wanna, and I advise you to, with earth tremor. After that shield charge, spinning slash into jump slash, and with this we link it ground slash into the first 2 hits of heavy strike, and then solar flare into the back, scars of dusk into pulverize. And with this we finish the first part of this combo. The second part of this combo starts right after pulverize. You can cancel with chopping kick and then reposition with evasion anyway, and we do spinning slash into jump slash into ground slash into the first 2 hits of heavy strike. And a little note is that in this case heavy strike will not be off cooldown, so you will do a little less damage, but it's okay. I find it the only way. And then you solar flare again, and then you reposition with evasion, and then ground smash into earth tremor, and then shield charge. And this finished the second part, and we can instantly chain with the first part again, and we can go over and over and over, because if you remember, ground smash into earth tremor is also the beginning of the first part, and then shield charge, spinning slash, jump slash, etc. And that was it for this reboot overview. Hopefully it was helpful, and now that it's finally here, we can enjoy this reboot, so let's go. I wanted to thank everybody, take care, and I wanted also to renew my happy holidays and happy new year to you all, and yeah, to the next time.